Welcome to Baseball Biz on Deck. Matt Germain is here with me, Mr. Mark Corbett. We're loving having you here today, talking about all things baseball. But our focus today is going to be quite a bit about the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, what's happening there. And we'll take a look at the All-Star game and all the little things that come with it, including, geez, what else? Oh, my gosh. I meant to ask you, Matt, did you make it to the wedding?
Nope, I wasn't invited, but I did have some thoughts, about it all. And I thought, if you're going to get married and you're going to do a big thing, and you compare what Jeff Bezos did with Italy, and then you compare what Taylor Swift did with New York, which one would be the one that you would be more story-like? Right?
Geez. I think it would have to be Taylor just because of everything that built up to this moment. But plus that I have no love for Jeff Bezos. No, but I didn't get my invite in time either. It came late in the mail. I don't know. So I wasn't able to make it up there in Madison Square Garden. Wow. It's now thinking about baseball. I wonder if there's ever been a game played inside Madison Square Garden. I don't think they could, but we'll have to find out if there's some association with that sometime.
Do wiffle ball championship at Madison Square Garden.
I like that.
John Boy should be on top of that. That would be epic.
That boy's back. Yeah, it's his backyard to boot, man. That would be great. They do so many different things. And sometime we're going to talk about that baseball where you do it with like 3 people. I think it's called B3. And we'll dig into that sometime. That could be the sort of thing they play there. But even though we didn't make it to Taylor's and Kelsey's wedding, we have been following what's going on with baseball and certainly our Rays. And my gosh, there's been so much fun watching the Rays stay ahead of the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees, before this series just started here at the Trop with the Rays and the Yankees, I think that the Yankees had lost 9 out of 10 games. At the beginning of today's, we had given them a game to win, so it was actually 8 out of 10 presently. But we're recording this on Wednesday evening, and it's about 8:32. Let's see, how many innings are we into? We're in 7 innings. And the Yankees have 0, and we have 2. And Mr. Yandy Diaz is at the bat. Oh, my gosh. I love this man. And he is, how many? 3 for 3 tonight?
Yeah, he's doing great. And he's seeing the ball like a beach ball right now. And he's a tough out every time he's up there. I mean, he just has such a presence to him now that pitchers are pretty careful about what they do, but he's still able to get pitches that are out of the zone. That's one of his major skills. If he has to, he will turn on one that is actually a little bit further away or inside and make it work.
Yeah, I was almost more interested in watching him get a single or a double. He just now hit one through.
Yeah, exactly. And that was really inside. Like, it wasn't even over the plate, I don't think. So an example of what he does.
What's going on with the Rays, one of the players I've been most critical of over time has been Taylor Walls. Mm-hmm. And one way you could say I criticize how fantastic he is as a defensive player. Mm-hmm. And I haven't looked at the numbers specifically, but my gosh, game after game after game, he seems to be getting better at the plate. And it has just been phenomenal to see. It's one of those things because you love the player. You love what he does out there, on the field. And if Junior could get out of his way, that'd be even better. But, you know what I'm saying. Recently, there's a couple of times when the ball was obviously belonged to Taylor Walls, and Junior got right in front of him. It's like, good Lord, man. It made an error. Oh, what was it? It's about a week or so ago, and it was very obvious that Caminero had gotten in front of Walls, and they asked Kevin about it. And he says, it's Taylor's ball. It was something very simple and succinct, and he didn't really say any more about it. He said, what did you think about it? It was Taylor's ball. It was straight. I probably went to a lightning bolt to where Junior was at the moment. But I don't even know where to start with this team. So much is going on right now as far as activity.
Yeah, it seems like every night they have like enough talent to put it to the other teams and get some runs across at the key times. I mean, the top of the lineup is definitely doing the dirty work in terms of getting, runs across. But I've seen a lot of guys like Ryan Vilade and Richie Palacios recently has been going on a tear a little bit. Johnny DeLuca, since he's coming back, even some of their catchers like Feduccia just went up, and they're starting to get that momentum going where they're all kind of sort of believing in the lineup in general,
Yeah.
not just in themselves, right?
When you
So
see the guy
that's
in the 9-hole doing what he did for Feduccia the other day, I was like, wow. So what was it? Did he get a home run? Then Yandy get a home run right behind him? Was that what it was? Yeah.
And you
I
could
remember.
tell when he was interviewed after the game, like he was very happy to have contributed
Oh
because
yeah.
when he was first brought in, that was supposed to be his calling card, was his bat. So everybody was expecting a little bit more. And I think, like a lot of players do when they come into the league, like they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves and they want to do more than they probably should with every pitch. I love to see it. Like Taylor Walls just got driven in there. So now it's 3-0. That's a
Woohoo.
huge run for the Rays. But when you're looking at the standings in general, Mark, like right now we're about to go to the All-Star game, right?
Yep.
Well, what I like to look at, what are the gaps? First of all, what are the gaps in divisions? So you're looking at the Rays right now have a 4-game lead on New York, and they might end up with a 5-game lead at the end of the night. Then behind them, you have Toronto, who's 11 games back, Boston, 12 games back, and Baltimore, 12 and a half games back. So when you're talking about the division leaders, like it's really a race between the Rays and the Yankees, unless both of them, the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
So that's where you start. And then you're looking at it from the wild card point of view, and it gets even better for the Rays, right? Because right now, the cutoff line is basically 500 team. So the Rangers are at 500. And so when you're looking at the Rays, being what are they now? That's 10, 17 games above 500, about to be 18 games above 500.
Right.
That's quite the gap they've built for themselves. And I don't think, I would hope anyway, that nobody's making that up. So essentially, they're almost guaranteed a playoff spot, knock on wood. And and they're putting themselves in a position now where they say, okay, how do we upgrade? What do we do to improve this team now that we're in that solid position?
Right.
So the draft's coming up in 3 days. They have one pick that they can trade out of that bunch, the 33rd overall. There's a catching position that they say they want to upgrade.
Hmm.
You look around, and when the Rays have picked up catchers recently in recent years, it seems to me like they're prioritizing a lot of the blocking skills, right? They don't want any pitches to go through, some defensive abilities, but not always the bat. But when I look at it, Mark, and I'm like, okay, you think back to all the playoffs and all the key moments, like Miguel Rojas hitting that home run or whatever. Like the slug seems to be the thing that drives a lot of teams in the playoffs, because that one big hit can help you, beat some of the better pitchers,
Right.
because that's all it takes. Somebody on base, you get a big hit, boom, you got 2 runs. That might be all you need to win the game. So I think of Hunter Goodman with the Rockies, and he's been one of those enigmas on that team. And I know that they would hate to have to trade him, but you have to be realistic when you're the Rockies and you're trying to beat some of the really high-end teams in that division. And I don't think that they're going to sign him to a huge, long extension either.
Yeah.
But some of his stats as a Rockies player that you look at and you're like, oh, well, this is intriguing. I mean, he's got one of the highest isolated powers. Yes, that's what everybody says it's supposed to be because of the Rocky, Coors Field. But his
Explain that too. Explain isolated power.
because it's Mile High Stadium, which is basically what we call it, then they're at a height where they do use a humidor to try to temper down the altitude, the impact that it'll have on hits and the amount of home runs that'll be hit there as a result. I don't remember what the numbers were when they originally went in there before the humidor, but it was pretty funny to watch, because you'd see players go there to get these huge contracts, they leave, and then it's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, exactly. So
Sounds
Hunter Goodman actually has a higher isolated power away from Coors than he does at Coors.
wow.
All of his statistics hitting wise are better away than they are at Coors. So it begs the question then, okay, it's supposed to be extremely hard to do that because of the impact that playing at altitude has on your body as well.
Yeah.
And so there's supposed to be some wear and tear, especially from a catcher position. So when he's able to do that with the Rockies, it begs the question, like, what would he do on another team? when I think back to the best Rays teams, they've had a slugger like Mike Zunino and Wilson Ramos, a couple of other ones.
Right.
That's when their lineup was really the most dangerous in the playoff moments. So I think it would behoove them to kind of look down that road and say, okay, well, if we're going to go out and get a catcher, we're not going to prioritize defensive abilities. If you want them to be good, don't get me wrong, that's still to the position. But to have Hunter Goodman in there, I think would really, off the bench especially, give Kevin Cash an ability to inject some offense when he needs it in those key moments.
Wow. Well, what's going on here now? So, who do we have pitching? We got Sulser pitching now, so I guess.
Oh, Cole Sulser has been
Yeah.
quite the arm there over the last 30 days. When I looked it up recently, he's within the top 20 arms relief wise over the last 30 days. So he's underrated really amongst the Rays pitchers, I think, when it comes to how effective he's been this year. And he's one of their veterans. Like, he's not supposed to be, one of the key guys, but Brian Baker and him have really solidified the back of the bullpen.
Wow. I mean, I always like seeing him. I'm so used to seeing Clevenger there, and but Baker has just been amazing. He's been amazing to watch, because I was so concerned when we lost Pete Fairbanks. And I thought, are we going to get somebody like that again? Somebody with that kind of attitude and ability. And I think Baker has definitely proven himself in that role, because watching him the other night, taking the Yankees down in the ninth, and the joy that you would see, the intensity, it was really great. So, sir, yeah, I'm glad to see he's performing well. Now, when you look across the Rays right now, and with the trade deadline coming up, there's so many elements that are working right now, Matt. I mean, what do you want? What do you trade for? Are you looking for a little bit more on batting? Because we're seeing, the spots 4 through 9 are actually performing pretty well.
I do want to temper like some of the ways that the Rays have been winning recently has been against, I don't want to call it lesser competition,
Yeah.
but against competition they're supposed to beat. So it's good to get excited, and it's good that they're actually delivering against some of those teams, because a lot of times there's fallback from teams like they say, oh, I don't know, the mindset changes to, oh, we're supposed to win, and then they end up losing.
Right.
Baseball gets like that sometimes. But I would say compare yourself to the best. So if you're up against the Dodgers every night,
Yeah.
what would you want your team to be like? Because that's what you're going to be facing in the playoffs. So I always think you want to solidify. And I think the Rays have done something interesting, Mark, which is they've added a lot of depth in AAA that are MLB tested and ready. Like, it's the first time I think I've ever seen that many MLB guys ready to roll in AAA. Like, and people forget too, like there's guys that they went out and grabbed, in the offseason or in recent trades where they ended up bringing them in. Like Gavin Lux is an example. Gavin Lux is still.
I forgot about him. I'll be quite honest with you. I know who he
Yeah,
is. I remember.
exactly. You're not alone. Like,
We spent. You gave him $1 million and nothing's happened. I'm sorry. That's.
yeah. So a lot of times nagging injuries can hold players back, right?
Yeah.
And we get that. I think Taylor Walls was a good example. He had the hip issues and he had to get surgery, etc. But Gavin Lux still has a significant amount of ability. Carson Williams is still down there working on his stuff. And I just saw he had a home run and a stolen base yesterday. I think he has 13 home runs, double-digit steals. He's still improving his game.
Wow.
They have Oliver Dunn that they brought in from the White Sox. They have Jake Cave that they brought in as an outfielder who's got a lot of experience. Jake Fraley is on his way back. He's actually finishing. He should be back any day now in the outfield. Jacob Melton is the guy they traded for from the Astros, and he's an excellent option if they need somebody else in the outfield. They have Homer Bush Jr., who we talked about with the manager in AA, who's supposed to be a very excellent option. He's getting the seasoning he needs down there. So if ever they needed to call on him because they had a series of injuries, he's good to go. Then they have Austin Slater, who they had brought in. I'm not sure what his status is. And the last one they've brought in recently is Nick Madrigal. Nick Madrigal, you're talking about the hit tool, right? If you're going into the playoff situation, a lot of injuries happen in September. You need to call on somebody who you just want to keep churning that lineup through. He's a little bit like a Miguel Rojas kind of guy that
Yeah.
could actually come in and inject some solid abilities if you ever needed him to. So it doesn't mean that they're going to be using these guys, but it's the first time I can remember in a long time where they have so many options that have had significant track records in MLB. So I think they've built that up on purpose because they want to mitigate all the risk that happens later on in the season and to plug any holes if they need to rest guys here and there. So I don't want to call it phantom injury, but sometimes
No.
those tend to come up, you know. And then
No, what is interests me too is looking at it's like, well, you almost have an expansion team right there. I
mhm.
mean, these guys you're talking about didn't just come up for a cup of coffee. They played in the MLB. They were there for more than just come up for a few games. And that's something in and of itself. So if we have that kind of depth at our AAA level, is there really any much room or need to make changes with the Rays?
So I think you can be aggressive and look for options that are going to help you not just for this year but also next year.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Like Zach Neto is a guy that I would go after.
Hmm.
I don't feel the Angels are anywhere near ready to compete. I think they have to be realistic. And with Zach Neto, what you're doing is you're elevating the offensive side of your shortstop position to the point where the floor of your entire lineup goes up a notch. And to me, if you have a guy who's able to do double digit home runs and steals and still gives you solid defense at the shortstop position, he's not going to be as good as Taylor Walls, but he's very comparable to Taylor Walls.
Hmm.
So I think that if you had to pay the price of, let's say, Carson Williams and other pieces to get Zach Neto because you're making that playoff push, I think the Angels would be very interested in that because they can start building around it. Carson Williams is MLB ready. Like something like that would make a lot of sense. They have other guys at shortstop behind them that they know are coming up as well, like Cooper Fleming and Adrian Santana, who aren't far off from. So there's still more talent coming in at the position behind them. But I feel like the Rays, if they want to go for it this year, they need to do those tweaks because when you're comparing yourself to the Dodgers, when you're comparing yourself to the behemoths of the National League, is what I'll call them, then you need to actually be honest with yourself. Do you really need to have Taylor Walls in the lineup when you're going up against the Dodgers? Or would you be more comfortable with Zach Neto? So to me, Neto and Goodman are two options that I would look at. And on the pitching side, you can always tweak your pen. So I had Drew Anderson from the Tigers as an option. Like what you want essentially in the playoffs, if you can get it, is guys who strike guys out, right? You want the whiff. So when you're looking at Drew Anderson, he's a little bit more of a mature arm, like a little bit like Cole Salser, where he's been around the block a little bit. He's 32 years old. He actually went to Korea and Japan, came back, and now he's getting a lot of swing and miss. And what I like about him is that he's able to actually get multiple innings. To me, one of the fears that I have for the Rays is that arms will start falling off as they near the playoffs, and they'll need the extra innings from everybody. And so when I look at Drew Anderson, I think he's able to actually go 2 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings, even in some cases if needed. And when you're looking at the playoffs, how many guys recently, like I don't remember last year's, but in recent years, it seems like 3, 4 innings, you're lucky
Yeah.
if you get that of your starter. And then after that, it becomes the pen game. So I think Drew Anderson would be a great fit there. And the last one I'll throw out to you, Mark, is Freddie Peralta.
Oh, man.
Freddie Peralta's had a heck of a time with the Mets. He's not happy there. He's going to be a free agent in 2027. I'm pretty sure the Mets would pick up the bill on money-wise
Yeah.
on a lot of what he's owed. So then it just becomes a match of prospects and what you're wanting to deal away. But I feel like Freddie Peralta needs a change of scenery and that Kyle Snyder and the gurus with the Rays would be able to harness his stuff and show him a couple of things that would actually get him back into that groove. And I hope that if they did acquire somebody like that, they would get him early enough to make those tweaks before they get to the playoffs. So those are the guys I'll throw out to you, Mark.
Well, it's good times for the Rays, and it's I think what do we got? I think four guys going or more to the All Stars, and it's Drew, I believe, a junior Caminero, who's also going to be in the home run derby. One of the Yankees will be there as well. Ben Rice, who's been fun to watch, by the way.
Mhm. Yes.
I just don't want him doing too well this week. But it's been, watching it. So who do we got? We got is Yandy, Junior, Drew, Rhonda. Is that it? Did I got that right? Maybe not. Let's see.
So for the Rays, I
Yeah.
think you got it right. Yeah, there's Baker, Caminero, Diaz, and Rasmussen.
Okay. So
Around us not.
Baker.
Yeah.
Baker. Good. Well, you have to respect what he's done. We were talking about that earlier. Baker's just been amazing. It has been interesting. And now watching this week too with the Yankees and watching the first game that we lost. Wow. Caballero just seemed like he was enjoying it too damn much.
He is always having fun.
Yeah, he is. He is. And between him and Chisholm, it's silly. I mean, to watch those guys, but it always gives me a reason to just like, oh, I don't like you guys, you Yankees. It's just you're enjoying this too much, and you're just trying to rub it in, But that's just me being silly. But it's always been fun. I think I told you years ago when I first moved down here to Tampa, I took a job with the New York Times, and it was interesting because everybody I worked with there, the majority of them were from New York. So when we went to see the Trop, they're all pulling for New York. And it's like, come on, people, you live here now, okay? And then the Times bought the Boston Globe. So the next damn thing, I'm around a bunch of Red Sox fans. Hey, Mark, you want to go to the game with us? No, no, I might go, but I'm not going with you. Come on. But they are passionate about the game, those fans, and
Yep.
thankfully so.
Have you looked at the X-rays that are going to the All-Star game?
No, who are we?
You got Christopher Sanchez is one of the major pitchers starting wise. You have Riley O'Brien, who is in this system with the Rays for quite a few years. He's going there for the Cardinals. You have Randy Rosarena, everybody's favorite.
There you go.
Had his own section at the Trop. I think we can still cheer for him at the All-Star game. Michael Waka is going as well for the Royals. And I know I enjoyed watching him. I thought it was fun to, a fun pitcher to keep track of on the mound and have around. So it's too bad he didn't stick around longer than that. But then there's one more. I think I'm trying to remember. It'll come to me.
It wasn't Fairbanks though.
No.
And okay, who's with the Jakey Byers is doing well with the Brewers. Is he a consideration there? Maybe not, huh?
No. So
no, it is fun watching these guys. Like I said, watching the other night, seeing Fairbanks pitching to Rosarena, Fairbanks there with the Marlins, Miami Marlins, and Brandy with the Mariners. It was it was fun to watch. But love seeing these guys. Let's see right now. Oh, what's happened in the game thus far? So the score's still 3-0, and Boone got kicked out earlier for being upset, saying that the umpire said, "I'm sorry, you wanted to review that call, but you waited too damn long. It was 1 second too long." And for the looks of it, he wouldn't have won it anyway. But I think him and one of his coaches got kicked out of it. So it's Baker pitch. Yeah, it's a top of the ninth. Baker's pitching.
Have you looked at the because Evan Longoria weekend's coming up, right?
Yeah.
And they're opening up the top section. So have you looked at what tickets are going to the upper levels?
No, I'm sure it's insane. What have you seen?
No, I'm just going in right now and I'm looking at the upper echelon and there's nothing available. There's some available at the lower bowl, but I think they've been eaten up for the most part. The lowest level I can get to is like the 208, 218 ish, and they're about $80 a piece. Those are not the lower bowl, but then you go down to the lower bowl and those ones are, well, in some sections pretty interesting, up to $900.
Sweet
And then
bejeebies.
in the outfield, we got 60, 80, 130. So it depends on which row, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So yeah, they're doing great with that the sales for that weekend. I think opening up the top level, I'm assuming that the site that I'm looking at has them as part of what would be available if they were.
Right.
But then you jump onto StubHub and just compare the two. Because sometimes they issue them out to different. Yeah, you see, when I go on StubHub, it says selling fast for that weekend. So I'm just going to look
Oh,
for
of
2 tickets, and I'm
course,
going
that's
to.
got to be the case. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they do have some available in the upper echelon, and what they're offering there is $37 for the lowest, and up to about 44. It looks like.
That seems
Uh,
reasonable.
yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yep, and they have much lower ones in the outfield as well, down to $30. So if you, long story short, if you're going to buy tickets, go through StubHub and not the not the other site, which I won't mention.
Yeah, yeah. Jeez, my knees. No, man, I tell you what, you can be a regular bleacher bum.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed it up there in the 300s. It was a lot of fun. And they had one part that was like a bar. I don't know how they repurposed it now, but it was right there. And I always enjoyed that section and working up there with those people. And I do remember being there one time with the Yankees and Rays game. And there was I got to tell you, this may sound strange, but I found the Yankees fans to be, oh, I don't know, I'd say more fun to be with than the Red Sox fans, no
More
matter what.
colorful.
More colorful, certainly more colorful, but actually more enjoying the game instead of being there for some dogged rivalry. Of course, this
Uh,
is, pre Sabathia hitting a Ray, but it was always fun to be up in the 300s. That's also the section where, if you have dog days and you won't bring your dogs up to the 300 level and you have
right.
people walk around with pooper scoopers the whole time. But it looks like there might be some pooper scoopers for the Yankees at the end of this inning here. So we'll see.
I like how you turned. The thing about it all is, I think, for the Rays to do that is nice. I hope people take advantage of it, just because it is for Evan, right? I think Evan, more than any player that I can remember, was dedicated heart and soul to the Rays.
Yep.
And I hope the fans recognize that and fill the seats for him, so that it shows a kind of thank you on their part for him, the commitment that he showed to the city and the team. I mean, he was crushed when he was dealt. I don't think he was so close to the 10-5 rights
Yeah.
that he could see it around the corner. And I think, I do wonder what his career would have ended like if he had stayed with the Rays. How
Mm.
different would it have been than San Francisco? I have no idea. I don't know if he sticks it out longer because he's with the Rays. I don't. You can never tell these things.
No.
So, but you do have to recognize the moment, and so I'm encouraging fans to get out there. If you're thinking about going to a game sometime this year, this might be the game that you want to be at, because it'll be a special moment.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I'm really happy about that. I love that his walk up music. They're actually going to have the artist Tantric there to do the music down and out, and that was always fun to listen. Anytime Evan was going to be walking up there to hear the violin strings for that, it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But well, it looks like things are done here. I'm looking over here and I'm seeing Mr. Baker beating his chest, and
When he screams and he gets that ugly, like almost like a scary look to him,
yeah.
I would say. Like he's happy. You can see the smile, but you're like, whoa, do I want to go up and give him a high five? I don't know.
No, he looks so daggone intense. It's like if Thanos was laughing, I think that has that kind of look to it. It's like, oh, okay, I'm glad you're enjoying the joke, but no, we're very fortunate to have him there, and it's amazing to watch him. Like I said, I wondered if we were going to get another Pete, and
Mhm.
he's not another Pete. He's a baker, and he's damn good baker.
The other thing we haven't talked about yet is Shane McClanahan.
Oh my gosh,
Like 6.1 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 5 Ks, 0 runs against the Yankees. I know Judge isn't there. It's still the Yankees. He still has to perform. It's the health and the sharpness and the smile on his face coming off the mound. In the like, this is what he's been waiting for, is to
yeah,
get that touch and feel back to the point where he can dominate hitters consistently. So it's great to see. I hope him and Jax both continue the run that they're on in terms of being consistent cogs in the rotation, because Drew's doing great, Nick Martinez is doing great. It's just, you know what it feels like, Mark, when too many things are going right with the rotation, you're just crossing your fingers and toes, and you're like, okay, I want this to continue all the way through to the playoffs. Like, just keep riding it, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
hopefully they can.
I think they will. I'm really looking forward to it. You talk about riding it all the way through. I was watching some of that game today where Dylan Cease for Toronto. I think they were like 7-0 over the Giants, and he had a no hitter going on. And it was the MLB Network, and they kept going back to it, and going back to it. And it's like, are they going to let him go into from the seventh? They're going to go into the eighth, and sure enough, they did, and he did that, did well. And are they going to let him go into the ninth? Well, you can't let him go in the eighth and not let him go in the ninth, But so he went in there, and unfortunately, one of them got a hit off of him. But it was amazing to see, and you see that kind of talent, you see that kind of control of a pitcher, and it's exciting. So when you mentioned all this about Shane McClanahan, it is good to see the kind of game he pitched tonight. It's good to see the joy in his face, for what he's achieving out there on the mound, and to see a control that I didn't know we would see again, be quite honest with you. So it was a great game to watch tonight. If you have it, if you have the ability to go watch it again later on, I'd suggest you do so. Folks, it is an interesting 4-game matchup with the Yankees here at Tropicana Field, getting ready for the Longo weekend, and then, of course, the All-Star week as well. A lot of things cooking.
Yeah, Joe Ryan is the guy that I was thinking of. That's an X-ray that's also going to be in the All-Star game.
There you
That
go.
was the one I was missing.
Wow.
So speaking of the All-Star game and speaking of all the stuff going on, there's also the MLB draft coming up.
What?
The MLB draft, which means that if you're a Rays top prospect right now, there's a good chance you're not going to be the top prospect in less than a week because the Rays are selecting second overall. And what I'm hearing is some mixed baggage now for the first time. And it tends to happen the closer that the draft comes to. I mean, everybody has their own opinions and they have the things that they like most. It's sometimes there's a guaranteed guy at the top, right? Paul Skeens was that guy. He wasn't going to get moved off number one. He never did. Nobody predicted anybody different. This year is a little bit different. There's been some consistencies in terms of the top three and who they are. So you have Rock Chalowski. He's in a shortstop from UCLA. You have Grady Emerson, who's a shortstop from Fort Worth, Texas. He's a high school guy. And then you have Vaughn Lockie, who's a catcher from Georgia Tech. Those three have been consistently at the top of the draft. So the thought process is right now, the latest rumors that I've heard is that Grady Emerson is going to be the selection that the White Sox go with and not Rock Chalowski. And that would completely change the thought process from the Rays point of view, because there's a lot of risk with high school shortstops, right? And the Rays haven't always had the best success with that risk. So a lot of people were predicting Von Locke would be the guy that the Rays go with. But if Rock is available at 2, I don't think they can walk away from that. You have a college guy, at shortstop, premium defender, which the Rays love at shortstop.
Yeah.
They value that, right? And he's a 25 home run guy on top of it that could slot next to Junior Caminero for the next 10 years. How do you say no to that? I think they would have a hard time passing on. Now, I would get it if they did, because Von Locke is definitely a very significant, strong choice at catcher. Would be the best catcher they've ever selected, or the most highly ranked or rated one that they've ever selected. But I don't think they could walk away from Rock Chalowski. I don't think.
Well, it is going to be interesting to see what they finally do with that, Matt. And I love this time of year, but it's whether it be the All-Star game, whether we're looking at the draft. A few weeks back we had the combine going on, and it's and of course then we got the CBA, and we're not going to talk about that today. But there's a whole lot of different things, a whole lot of moving parts. But it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a Rays fan, no matter what you're doing, and to look. And thank you for sharing too the depth at the AAA of what we have as far as major league players that are there. To me, that gives me hope for if there's any difficulties, a pool of talent that above and beyond the 26.
Let's just paint the picture of where you are as a Rays fan, right? You're number one in the American League, right? Number one, there's nobody better right now in the whole league. Your low A and high A teams have already classified for the playoffs, so they're going to be playing in the playoffs. Your system is ranked in the top 10. You're about to select the second overall pick, so you're going to get a phenom of some sort added to the franchise. Junior Caminero is lighting up MLB like crazy. You've got 4 All-Stars on your roster. You have your manager locked in for 5 years. You have your general manager locked in, it seems like, for life. You have the pitching coach that everybody would want to have to go into the rest of the season with. And you have money to spend at the trade deadline. This is just one of those moments where the only thing they're really missing, Mark, the only thing the Rays do not have is a stadium deal. That is the only thing that would put the cherry on top of the sundae.
Well, the enthusiasm, Matt, in this community is there. And I just hope to heck that, like I said, billionaires and politicians can come together and find a common ground, because this city has committed to baseball for decades, for over a century. Baseball built so much when you look at the cigar industry from Ybor and everything that's flown out from that. We've talked time and again. I mean, if you walk around, you'll find, whether it be Lou Piniella, David Magadan, was it Tamargo, all these names just around the city. And listening to Ron Darling talking about the game with Dwayne Stats the other day. And he was talking about Pompano Beach, but then he was also talking about Plant City, which is right on the outset of Tampa, where I live these days. So there's all these people who have lived here or who are living here, who are part of baseball, who love the game, and we want to see it happen. So I hope that they can all hold hands together, do the kumbaya, and get this done. And I know politically for some people it may seem a little difficult to do, but I think that something can be done. Let's get that deal done. Let's get that stadium. These Rays deserve it, and us as fans, we deserve it. So let's make it happen.
I love it. Get it done.
All right, brother. Any other goodies we should share?
No, I don't have any other goodies. I really don't. I'm in a happy place, Mark. I think we're all in a happy place. The Rays are winning and winning and winning, and I just want them to keep doing that and keep everybody healthy.
There you go, my friend. Let's keep it rolling. It's good times, boys and girls. We want to thank you all again, Matt and I, for joining us here today on another Rays Up edition of Baseball Biz on Deck. And it's all about having fun with the game. Matt always says, and I too as well, make sure you go out there some of the minor league games and see those as well. I mean, my gosh, Matt, you're talking about AAA. You've got a whole major league team right there. Go out to your colleges, see the great players, see those hungry young players who want to move up. A lot of good things going on. So look forward to seeing any other last words, Matt?
No, I'll just say that the Durham Bulls are actually leading their division in the second half right now because of how good they are.
Ooh, all right, boys and girls. Well, thank you for joining us here today, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Bong.
If you enjoyed this show, go ahead, like and subscribe to Baseball Biz on Deck. You may also find Baseball Biz on Deck on YouTube, at iHeart Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and at baseballbizondeck.com. Also, you can find Matt at matgermain.bskysocial. That's Matt at matgermain.bskysocial, or Mark at baseballbizondeck.bskysocial and Baseball Biz on Deck with Facebook.